Happy Hour.
And now for something completely different.
Welcome back to Happy Hour. This is your host, Ryan Hoppe. I am here at the chill room of Pinellas Park. In Pinellas Park, that's why it's called the chill room of Pinellas Park, with the one and only Frank the Kava OG. Hello, sir.
Good, Ryan. How are you?
Doing good, man. You're definitely living the dream. I'm really proud of everything you've built here at the chill room.
It's been fun, man. It's a good spot. Cool people.
How do you think it's been going?
It's growing. It's growing every day. You know, good kava and tea will do that. Good atmosphere, good people. We do something different every night. It's been fun.
Yeah, you are the longest tenured person here now, because there was a few previous managements and whatnot. And
Am I?
You've definitely, for sure, like 6, 7, 8 months, 9.
Yeah, it's been like 7 months now.
It's crazy. It's gone by really fast.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
I know. It's just 24
Just
hours
yesterday,
ago.
man.
So you are known as the Kava OG.
AKA. It's nothing yeah.
And there's been people in the past that have said that you're not the Kava OG, that you gave yourself that name.
Who are these people?
Their name rhymes with Ronovan. So.
Oh, Jesus. No, actually, I was given. I've been around for a long time, man. So I'm called the Kava OG by several people in the community.
Yeah.
But I'm not the OOG. I mean, there's guys that brought this stuff here the first time.
Right? Kenneth?
Ken, Grassroots Ken, yeah. Ken's Hoyumpa, Sean Simpson, Low Tide. But those were guys like me. They're OGs. But before them, Ken, I guess we consider more the Kava OOG because he was back with the original guy, Jeff and Laurent, and the other dudes that really brought it all together with Not Kava.
What got you into Kava and Kratom? I know this story, but my audience might not.
It's 2 parts, actually. Kava itself, for me, was never heard of it. Didn't really care about it. Saw any thing in creative loafing way back when.
Yeah.
And one day I was driving home from work, and I'm on 5th Avenue North, and I see Bula Cafe, and I'm like, what the hell is that? So I stop in. It had been like a really shitty month. I was in sales and stuff, and I just wanted to get drunk. You know, so I thought it was a bar. I pulled in and sat down, and Ken, the guy that owns Grassroots now, is a great guy. I consider him like a brother to me. He's in there, and I walk in, and I'm like, man, what's this Kava stuff? And he's like, oh, go outside, talk to him. So I'm like, all right. So I go outside, and there's this dread-headed 18-year-old kid sitting behind a freaking tiki bar, you know? And I'm like, dude, what's Kava? And he tells me, he's like, man, it's going to chill you out. It's going to relax you. It's like an alternative to alcohol. You know, it's a lot better for you than alcohol. And I'm like, all right, let me try it. So I had like 3 shells of Kava. And traditionally, where it comes from in the islands, it's served in a coconut shell.
Yeah.
Back then, Bula was also doing coconut shells. So I did this one shot. I'm like, yeah, give me another one. Drank like 2 or 3 of them. My face was completely numb. I was like, wow, that's different. Then I go home, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, all that stress, all the just, wanting to kill people, get drunk, all that was gone. I was just sitting there going, whoa, what the hell was this? And I was sold right there. I started hanging out, and Kava is a tribal thing, so that early Bula crowd was like a tribe that started with 1, 2 guys and then just grew exponentially.
How bad was your drinking in its prime?
I was to the point to where I was overweight, alcoholic, diabetic, had all the signs, high blood pressure, cholesterol, all that crap.
And when did you realize that you wanted to stop drinking?
That day I had the shell.
Yeah,
it was I knew it was coming because alcoholism runs in the family, and I just had a baby daughter in 2004, and this was right around she was like 4 or 5 I think at the time, and it was just my dad checked out at 52 years old because of alcohol, so I knew I was headed down that same path, and for me it was I got to do something. And all of a sudden, this whole community presented itself. You know, Kava, people sitting around just talking, just like you would be at a regular sports bar, talking everything, all kinds of different people, super, super diverse community, everybody from, landscape kids on up to multi-million-dollar guys working at Raymond James, all sitting at this little tiki bar with no air conditioner, drinking water that tastes like dirt and having a great time. I was like, fuck this, why would I want to drink? I would rather do that than drink. And that was naturally what happened. I just lost craving because I knew if I drank alcohol, it wasn't good to drink Kava. And I wanted to drink Kava more. I wanted to be a part of that community. The alcohol community was nothing. I was lucky never to get a DUI, but a lot of my friends did. It was bad. You make bad decisions,
Yeah, I drink occasionally still, but I haven't been drunk since September. And I was actually in the parking lot of the chill room. And I was throwing up after having some nachos because the previous management used to make nachos, which I think you should make nachos.
We've got cheese.
And I was throwing up, and I went, I can't do this anymore. I can't. It just was a breaking point. There's a radio DJ in Chicago named Steve Dahl, who's like one of the original shock jocks, and he drank in the 70s and 80s and early 90s, and that's pretty much when he was funny. It was when he was doing cocaine and drinking. And there's an article about him quitting drinking, and he said that he turned 40 and he just felt like he got old.
Yeah, I understand. It's funny too because now I'm managing and building Kava bars and stuff like that. I spent 25 years in corporate America, around alcohol, where alcohol was glorified. We'd had events centered around, keggers. There'd be like Beer 30 on Fridays outside where people could sit. So it was like, that was the path for everybody.
I had some of the most fun nights being drunk, but I also made a lot of dumb decisions being drunk. So it's literally a 50-50. Like when I lived in Cleveland and I worked on a Cleveland radio show, I don't remember any part of Cleveland. I was drunk the whole time.
I don't remember the early part of the 80s.
Isn't it frightening when you think about
scary.
that?
It's scary. Out of that entire decade, from 1980 through 2090, I remember 7 out of 10 years.
And where were you then? Reno?
I was in, Reno, Nevada, New York City. I spent a lot of time in New York, too.
You in Reno, I feel like that's trouble.
Reno, oh God, yeah, Reno was trouble. It's a great town.
What was so troubling about you in Reno?
It's a 24-hour town and a lot of shit to get into.
What were some of the things you got into?
I don't know.
What's your name?
In the 80s, it was like the Wild West. You had legalized prostitution, gambling, all of that stuff.
Is it still legal?
Prostitution is. Mustang Ranch still exists. It's the oldest legal brothel, I think, in the United States.
Did you ever get a client?
Oh, did I? That was the first place I ever got laid.
Oh, wow. You lost your virginity?
I lost my virginity
to a prostitute
at the Mustang Ranch.
I'm
proud to say that.
I lost my virginity to a 51-year-old radio listener in Cleveland on the side of not the side of the highway, but she lived right next to the airport. So the airplane was flying over.
Was it in the back seat of a car?
No, it was in her house.
Oh, well, at least you got inside. No, Mustang was an amazing place. I grew up in Mustang, Nevada. When we moved to Nevada, we actually moved to Mustang, which if anybody out there is from the Nevada area, you know that Mustang is like 8 to 10 miles outside of the city in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
A dump, and that's about it.
How the hell
That's the way it used to be back then. It's grown now, but...
How the hell did you get to Florida?
How did I get to Florida?
Yeah, I know you drove, but I'm saying, like, how did you get from Reno to Florida?
Come back to Florida? Because I grew up in Florida and then moved to Reno and then came back to Florida.
What a life.
I know. I actually drove back in a budget rent-a-van with all the family belongings, 3 cats, my cousin and my brother all snorting crack the entire way so we could make it in 2 days.
Snorting crack?
No, crystal meth.
What are you, Hunter Biden?
Well, it was fear and loathing, man. We had to get from Reno, Nevada to St. Petersburg, Florida in less than 3 days. So
what's it like on meth?
You just don't sleep. It's nothing I would ever suggest anybody ever try.
Oh man.
It's evil, but it
got the job done.
It's basically Adderall. It's the same thing. If you've ever done Adderall, it's the same thing.
What's the crash like?
I don't know. It's not good. It's not good, especially, and the thing is, and I would never advocate anybody ever doing anything like this, but
Yeah.
the thing is nowadays it's completely different than it was back in 1980, whatever.
Fentanyl.
Well, not only fentanyl, especially with
Fentanyl ruined everything.
that particular drug. People, it's like the spice thing. You remember the spice thing where they were spraying cannabinoids on like tea leaves and shit, and people were smoking it.
Before, and it freaked me out.
And the thing about it is, when it first came out, it wasn't really toxic for people.
Yeah.
But then they started changing laws. Like with the other thing, they started making it harder to get the ingredients that they needed, so they found substitutes. And once they find substitutes, that's where you start getting into the, oh crap, I may die if I do this.
Yeah, I think I smoked it one time in 2013. We picked up spice. No, we got
spice,
weed.
Yeah.
We got allegedly weed that was laced with it and crack, I believe.
Oh, Lord.
And I was at an apartment in Chicago, and there was no heat, and it was like January 2013 or 14, and I was shivering in this room.
That's miserable.
Yeah, it wasn't a good time.
Yeah.
That's why whenever it gets quote unquote cold here and it goes down to the low temperature of 40 and everybody complains, I'm like, shut up. It's not that bad.
Well, people in Florida are spoiled, and that's the thing is being a Floridian, moving out west where you got cold weather, growing up a little bit in the snow and shit, and then coming back to Florida. It's like I don't really. I'd rather take the warm weather or the cold weather. It doesn't matter. It doesn't get. It's not as bad here as it is in some other places. People bitch and complain about, oh, it's just dry heat. It's 105 degrees. Go sit in it for an hour. Dry heat's no fun.
What's the biggest difference between humidity and dry heat?
Humidity is just moisture in the air. Moisture that's turning, it's basically steam coming up from the sun hitting the ground. And it's just and dry heat, you have nothing but dirt and desert and shit like that. There's no, absorption. So you're just basically cooking rocks. So
now you've been smoking weed since the mid 1900s. I want to ask you,
1865.
Yeah. What's the biggest difference between weed now and weed, let's say, when you were in Reno, outside of the Mustang Ranch after being in a woman smoking out of
I
a
did
bowl?
dabble a little bit in the weed industry in the 80s. And back then, I don't know if we'd have our shit would come in looking like it was in a coffee can. Mm-hmm. It come in from Mexico, it'd be like the same shape as the can.
Yeah.
You'd have to break it up, rehydrate. I know dudes that would like spray their shit and put it in like a rehydrator. But it was different. Like now everything's designer. I was actually my buddy, one of my brothers back in Reno, his name was Merle Draper. Dude was the most amazing man in the world.
Sounds like a great man.
He was a great dude.
It's
Me and him jumped off some really high rocks back in the day. But his mother was part of the early group of people in Washington State that were basically using, growing marijuana back then like they're growing it today. She had grow rooms. It was all hydroponic. Everything was done, it had 9th, 10th generation indicas. It was insane. And I got introduced to that really early in the 80s and realized that, oh shit, this is an amazing plant.
Indica's my favorite.
Indica's my favorite as well.
I hate...
But now you got hybrids. You got sativas. You got...
Hybrids, okay.
Yeah.
I despise sativa. I don't like sativa.
See, I don't. I like good sativa. All marijuana is sativa. It's actually just indica is just a classification.
Sativa you can get from let's say, Trulieve.
Well,
it makes my brain overthink.
Well, now there's science. That's where it was starting back in the 80s, but now it's the science with growing marijuana. You can grow anything. You can crossbreed anything. And it's crazy. I ran into a guy that had some traditional old school Colombian gold seeds.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, let me have 3 of those seeds.
What's the craziest memory you have of partying in your life? Like the one night that you're like...
The one night. Oh, this is something that's kind of... this is also in the 80s, and none of the players probably are alive anymore. But me and a buddy of mine drove to San Bernardino, California to pick up some yayo.
Yeah.
And we did that, and this was like a 3 or 4 day experience. We drove to California. Went to this shady apartment complex, picked up a bunch of the white stuff, and drove back to Reno. Yeah, excuse me. And not that, but we drove back to Reno, and halfway through, we were like basically running on empty. We had no cash, and there's like brothels everywhere coming back from California to Nevada. Yeah. So we stop at the Moonlight Bunny Ranch in Carson City.
Did you see Dennis Hoff?
No, this was before Hoff. This was BH.
Rest in peace to that man.
Yeah. But
BH.
We go in, and all we had was this stuff. We didn't have any cash. So we're like, dude, we want to get later. We want to get money for gas. And I'm like, well, we're going to do both. So we go, and this is like 3 a.m, and there's 7 or 8 girls that are there. And when you walk into a brothel in Nevada,
are they hot?
Most of them, yeah, most of them. But they got something for everybody. But the thing is, the minute you walk through the gate, all the girls line up. As soon as you walk in, you can pick, a girl. You can go chill at the bar. So we go in, the girls line up, and we're like, we just want to sit and talk. So we sit, and I get this big, tall, black chick, just fucking sexy as hell. And I'm like, hey.
Amazon woman type?
Oh, dude, yeah, this crazy. It was
rock
crazy.
Your world.
Yeah. And I'm like, hey, I don't have any money, but I got this, and, let's go back to the room and talk. So we go back to her room, and I ended up giving her, I don't know, a couple of grams. No, she gave me head. But I gave her a couple of grams, but I was, she was sexy, and all she was in it was for the drugs. She didn't love me.
Of course she didn't love you. That's what your wife is for.
Let's say the whole encounter lasted about, I'm gonna be generous, 7 minutes. That was from the start to the finish. And
you were quick to come to completion.
I was quick, and I was like, shit, that sucks. So I go back out, and all of a sudden this one little Canadian girl comes up, and she's like, hey, I heard you got, and I'm like, yeah. And I ended up going back with her and giving her a little bit, and we were there.
Did you guys hook up?
For like 3 hours. She was a hottie. And but then we had to drive back to Reno. So we get all done with that. We did get some gas money. We drive back to Reno, and we were supposed to be throwing a bachelor party for a buddy of mine at the old MGM Grand. And I had a friend that worked there, so she gave us a suite on the top floor.
That sounds sweet.
Oh, dude, it was crazy. And this was like the craziest bachelor party ever.
Wild.
So we had we get there, we set it up, party starts happening. We got this girl on the bar, dancing for people and shit, and using popsicles in really unusual ways. And but we completely trashed the room. We made off of that little bit that we had. We made probably about 10 grand that night. And freaking.
And did you blow all that money in a day on coke?
Oh yeah, Well, no, I made the money. We were selling the stuff.
But I'm saying, I bet the next day you were out $10K just buying it all.
No, I didn't
really?
spend it. No.
Would you hold on to it? Were you? Would you say you were a responsible drug addict?
Hell no. Hell no. I mean, I was gambling and having fun, man. That money goes fast. The faster you make it, the faster it goes.
Hell yeah.
But that was a crazy freaking journey, man, and it all happened over about 3-4 days from start to finish. And I don't think I slept at all that weekend.
Bro, I don't even know how people do it. I need my sleep. Even when I would party back in the day, if it was reaching 5 a.m., I'm like, all right, guys, I'm going to bed. I need my 6 hours.
Holy shit.
I don't get the people that pulling all night.
You can't. I used to do it back. I mean, it used to be easier, and now that I'm an old man.
You do it now. You don't sleep. You work so hard here.
Dude, no, I sleep. I get 8 hours of sleep a day.
The word around town is that you never stop working.
I used to. I like working, man. I love being here 7 days a week, but I'm building this place, and it's a beautiful spot. It's a great little location. We do stuff different. We were trying to attract more of that, crowd my age, people that are trying to get away from alcohol and look for a decent, clean place that they could come and consume Kava and Kratom. We haven't even gotten into Kratom. What do you want to know about Kratom, man? I'm going to spill the beans.
Here's the thing. Everybody hates on Kratom. If you go online, if you just type in KRATOM on Google, it's nothing but hate from the Mayo Clinic and WebMD and Reddit and YouTube people. So I'm giving you the platform, Frank.
The misinformation and nothing.
Defend it.
I'm not going to defend Kratom. Kratom can speak for itself, but the thing is, it just has a bad reputation. It was introduced smoke shops, gas stations, at a wrong time, and when opiate crisis was going nuts and everything else, and Kratom helps people with that issue. But Kratom in its own right is a traditional, natural herbal remedy in Asia and has been for centuries. They've used it over there for hundreds and not thousands of years for everything from, getting healthier to a health diet, anxiety, stress, blood pressure, all of that stuff. Anti-diarrheal, but here kratom is like anything, Americans abuse it. And, that's where it gets the bad reputation. And then everybody, people are making money off of it. So, of course, Big Pharma doesn't want that money going.
I hate Big Pharma.
Well, it's not only Big Pharma, it's the whole machine,
What's the machine, Frank?
I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Tiring.
The machine is something that I don't even worry about.
The machine is an overrated comedian.
I live my. I hear he's going to be here. Anyways, no, man. It's just you got to understand that kratom is something that, and I'm not gonna make any medical claims or anything like that, but it has a lot of good benefits if used properly.
Tell me those benefits.
It can help. I mean, it can help with appetite suppression. It can help with pain. It can help with anxiety, stress, weight loss, bad mood. It's really, really good as a mood enhancer.
That helps me.
But the thing is, people think they're going to get high off of kratom, and it's going to be all this, wow, I can't drive shit. And it's not. You don't get high from kratom. You really don't. I mean, if you're looking to get high, there's a million other things that are much better for it. Kratom is something that helps people. It really does. It saves lives. It's helped people, beat alcoholism. It's helped people beat drug addiction. It's given people an alternative to just, some of the other things that are out there.
So, I made a video outside of a bar in downtown St. Pete that's near all the bars that sells alcohol.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that. They don't like you.
I made a video and you shared it on the Chill Room page, and the video got 5,000 views.
Wow.
And I was talking to somebody who's a vendor for the place, and I was talking to her, and I was like, yeah, if there's ever a place that maybe would want to sponsor my podcast, let me know. And she goes, oh, yeah, it's not going to be them.
Yeah.
And she named a place in downtown St. Pete. And I have no regrets about doing the video because I find them to be despicable and to make everything in the Kava and kratom community look bad by what they're doing. What do you think of places that mix alcohol and Kava and kratom and put themselves right in the middle of downtown St. Pete where they're near all the bars and all the drunk people?
I'm not going to knock anybody. I mean, you do what you want.
Make your money.
It's all about money for them.
Douche.
Kava and kratom is a traditional thing. It's something that should not really involve alcohol, because if you mix the two, it can be damaging to your liver.
What does it do to your liver? Because people hear that all the time.
Well, alcohol in itself is poison. Alcohol is poisoning you. You drink any alcohol, it's basically poisoning you. That's all it is. Kava pushes poisons out of your liver. So if you're doing, alcohol and Kava is going to win because it's going to make you get violently sick by pushing that poison out as fast as it can.
And when you worked at the other place you worked at, there was a party about 3 years ago, and I showed up a little drunk. You have this detector where you know if someone's been drinking, and you came up to me, and it was at the party, and you were like, have you been drinking, Ryan? And I'm like swaying back and forth with my 6'9" self. I'm like, why would you think that? Why would you think I'm drunk?
It's like the Sears Tower in the wind.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. I'm like the tilting tower.
Yeah, right.
You have that detector.
The leaning tower, Hoppe. I've always been able to detect people. I grew up in a family of alcoholics.
Yeah, that sucks.
That's not.
It skipped a generation for me. My dad was a dry drunk, but my grandma and grandpa partied hard after World War II. They're like, fuck it, let's party.
Yeah, my family was just all traditional 1950s, 1960s, Northeastern alcoholics.
Yeah.
Jersey, New York, all that, type of places where it's all they had to do.
Now, I had Sal on my podcast.
I know him. That's a good kid.
He promoted it, and I got a lot of listens. I used to have co-hosts that wouldn't even promote my show, but now I literally have Sal on my show, and it's crazy what happens when you promote things, how the listens go up. You are second cousins with Sal, correct?
Yeah. Second
What's
cousins.
your relationship been like with him over the
I
years?
love him, man. I've known him since he was a baby. I mean, we were both born on the same day, August 1st.
I forgot about that.
Several years apart.
10 years.
Something like that.
100.
Something like that. But Sal's a great kid, man. He's smart. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He just wants to help people, and, he'd give a shirt off his back to a stranger in the street if they needed it.
Frank, how much sleep do you get per night?
Anywhere between 7 and 8 hours.
It's funny. Everyone acts like you don't sleep.
Solid sleep.
That's great sleep. Everyone acts like you never sleep. It's really weird. There's always the chatter amongst the community. All he does is brew his own Kava. All he does is this.
I don't listen to any of that. That's the thing is people.
There's a lot of chatter though. There's a ton.
If you get into something like this and you ever try to open a bar or a business or anything, you have to be present. You have to be there. It's not like you have to be there 24/7, but you need to be there.
Everybody's an expert.
I've been doing it long enough to where I know how to schedule my crap out. And eventually, brewing is a special thing to me, so I love to do it.
What is so special? Because I try to tell people, whenever people bring this up, but why is he the one that brews it? I want to tell you, Frank. I want to tell you right now, the whole audience, how I view radio and podcasting, how passionate I am about it, is how passionate. You might be more passionate about Kava and Kratom than I am about my passion. And I feel like people don't realize sometimes that's your, I don't want to say your life because you got your family and your friends and the Dolphins, but that is your blood, bro.
Go Dolphins.
You love it, dude.
No, I'm changing people's lives, man. I'm helping people. That's something like I said, I spent 25 years in corporate America just, feeding that well and making money for other people. And it was like, you know what? I found something that changed my life legitimately. And, got an opportunity to build places that do it.
Aren't you going to release that book?
I am working on it, yeah. I want to teach people, and that's where Kratom comes in, because Kratom for me is a different story. I was never a Kratom guy. I was always Kava first, and then I was also still drinking alcohol, 300 pounds, diabetic. Kava was helping.
I can't imagine Fat Frank. Fascinating.
Fat Frank was happy, especially when he was drunk. But it was like Kratom was something I had found it through Bulak Cafe that started brewing it around 2016 and had a couple of shells, didn't like it, kept me up all night. And then Ken, once again, gave me some red for a backache. And I drank the red tea and miraculously my backache went away. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And I was never a painkiller guy or anything like that. So I was, like I said, diabetic, and I was about to go on insulin, and I started doing research. I've got that engineering mindset since I, come from that world, and started researching Kratom and really going deep into the science behind it, and realizing that it was something that was really like an herbal supplement used medicinally. And I started making some and brewing it myself, and I was doing that, on a regular basis in small amounts, and I was able to basically, lose 100 pounds, quit drinking completely. My A1C dropped by half, and eventually I got to the point to where I, between intermittent fasting and Kratom and all that, I was able to just get off of all of the diabetes medicine and stuff like that. So I'm healthier now at 58 than I ever was in my 30s.
So we have a few minutes left here. I definitely want to keep maybe doing like a monthly podcast with you,
man.
like what I did with Sal the other day. Here's the thing.
I got jokes.
Why should people come to the chill room, and how can they come to the chill room?
I just, people should come to the chill room to really experience a new place to hang out and socialize. It's not your typical Kava bar.
What's so different about it, Frank?
It's just a nice open space. We do events every night. We've got open mic on Friday nights. We've got karaoke on Tuesdays. We do, I don't know if anybody plays Texas Hold'em, but we have a Texas Hold'em poker tournament tonight for bar tabs. And then Monday nights are, what are Monday nights again? Oh, we're going to have a DJ on Monday nights. A DJ and also...
You said DJ, so I had to play the DJ sound effect.
Oh, there's a DJ sound effect. Yes, we got a... Oh, geez, All right, we get.
I'm done. I swear.
All right, there's a gentleman playing music with also music trivia. We're going to be doing trivia and having a DJ on Monday night. So we got all kinds. Yeah, Jamichael.
Jamichael's the man.
I forget the DJ he's bringing out.
Party
but
bitch.
Yeah. Oh, I can't say that again. Anyways, but yeah, we got something going on all the time, and the drinks are great. My staff is absolutely amazing. Rebecca.
A great addition.
Yeah, Rebecca's awesome.
Great girl.
Tim is an amazing guy.
I don't think Tim has any haters. I'm quite jealous of how many friends Tim has.
He loves everybody, man. He's a good dude, and he does a lot of cool shit. So he's got stories. And then Leah holding down the day shift, man. She's my rock.
Hell yeah, Frank. I'm gonna go pay the bar tab because Leah's about to get out of here.
Oh yeah, got to pay that money.
Frank, it's been a lot of fun having you on, and we're gonna think of ways to keep doing this.
Yeah, Hoppe, I enjoyed it, man, and I got a lot of stories, and I'll keep them short if I can.
I will. Let's see here. We are recording on June 12th, Wednesday, 2024. I'd say June 26th, maybe.
I'll mark my calendar.
2 weeks from now.
I'll be here.
All right.
Happy Hour. Happy Hour.
RyanHappyRadio.com